I was cheated on months ago, and I guess I just want to get it off my chest. Like the title says, this happened a while ago now, close to 8 to 9 months now I think, but it still hurts when I think about it. She and I didn't date for too long, around 3 to 4 months, but she love bombed the hell out of me for that time, so it really affected me regardless. I 24M was cheated on by my ex-GF 22F with my at the time roommate, also 24M, who was a friend of mine for over 10 years. Things were great at first. I did not mind them hanging out with each other, because I thought that, if I could trust anyone, it should be one of my best friends in my GF. My mistake on that one, lol. She would tell me when they were going to hang out, which I appreciated, because it made me feel like she cared enough to know what it could look like if she didn't say anything to me when she was going to be alone with him. That eventually stopped, and the problems began. The first time I got extremely angry was when they wanted to go to a small bar one night, but I did not want to, because I was tired. I was fine with this initially. The issue arose when I woke up around 2 a.m. to find that they were sitting outside in his truck and talking. Something in my gut told me to just watch them. I saw him put his hand on her knee, which I obviously was not okay with. Even still, I just watched. He then moved his hand up her thigh and began rubbing it. I shot downstairs and barreled out the front door, which caused him to try and remove his hand from her thigh inconspicuously, which he failed at like the shady little rat he is. I pulled her aside later and let her know I saw what happened and that I am not and never will be okay with anything like that. I didn't raise my voice, even though I wanted to. I just tried to be forgiving. For him, however, I told him to stay in his fucking lane, because this is not something that a friend would do. The next case I can remember was one weekend when I went back home to visit my grandparents. I visit as often as I can, because my grandmother has been diagnosed with Alzheimer's and dementia, and has had at least too many strokes within the past 2 or so years. I was trying to text her, and she was being short with me and eventually completely stopped responding. I was extremely worried, because she had admitted to me that she attempted suicide in the past. I thought the worst might be happening, so I checked her location. I still feel weak for that. I found that she was at the apartment for which the only other person who has a key for is my roommate, so she is obviously there with him. The next day, I called my cousin to talk about it because he used to be friends with my roommate as well, and I thought he might be able to give me some insight. He said he didn't trust him at all, and that he would go check and see if his truck was at the apartment because he works nearby. I thought my roommate had headed back for his parents over the weekend. Lo and behold, he was there. She got an earful from me and started trying to come up with excuses. I had some choice words for my friend, especially after he pulled the card of "I'm just doing me, bro," when he heard how angry I was. That marked the final nail in the coffin in our friendship, because keeping a snake like that in my life just seems counterintuitive on every level. Even after that, I still spoke with her. I think I was just feeling hurt and a little insecure, because I thought I really loved this girl. She was still love bombing me and talking like we were in a relationship, sexting, flirting, basically all forms of affection that you would expect from a relationship. We had sex one more time, and then she dropped me completely. I told all of our friends exactly what was going on, and that I understood if they still wanted to be friends with them, but that I didn't want to be around them, so please do not include me in things you want to include them in. My roommate was a part of my friend group, and I am the one who introduced him into it, and from this situation I learned that most of my friends never really liked him and only wanted him around because we were kind of a package deal in terms of friendship. The few who did still speak with him eventually dropped him because they got sick of his lack of accountability for his actions. He was the kind of guy that does things like this and then tells people, "Don't I deserve love too? Why am I being punished for being in love?" My ex-GF later reached out to me and told me that I was a narcissist who didn't care about anyone but myself, and that I abuse people emotionally to get the reactions that I want out of them, which bothered me for a while. But my friends, who I am extremely grateful for, helped me get over all the things she said to me. She was also adamant that she did not cheat on me, as if I didn't see everything playing out right in front of me. She dropped on me that my roommate had gotten her pregnant and she miscarried. and that I had apparently almost made her commit suicide in her postpartum depression, likely because I refused to forgive either of them in this situation, and she isn't very emotionally stable to begin with. I finally learned later officially, because my ex-GF and roommate lied to my face continuously about everything to try and save their own asses, that my roommate had spoken to a few people about the situation. One in particular he seems to have thought would never reach out to me about the issue, but luckily she is a good person. I learned from her that he admitted that he and my ex had sex one weekend while I was back home visiting my grandparents, and that they were just comforting each other according to him. This is because he has a child already with another woman, and they had broken up recently of his volition, not hers. He then told this friend that he thinks I am selfish for not seeing things from his side. She did tell him he was a piece of shit for everything though, which I greatly appreciate from her. All in all, I guess I just wanted to tell my story a little. I'd like to hear some of your opinions on it, and hit me with any questions you have. I'll answer them as best I can. Too long, didn't hear. Was cheated on by my ex-GF with my roommate and friend of over 10 years. My friends helped me a ton to get through it, but I guess I just wanted to air it out and get it off my chest. Please leave a comment after listening to my story. My boyfriend met a prostitute the night before my birthday, so I 19F went away last weekend to Paris for my birthday weekend with my best friend. We've had it planned for months, and my boyfriend to 5M hasn't had a problem with me not spending my birthday with him. We was both happy to have a meal when I got back. He wasn't off with me the whole holiday and was exited for me to come home. Once I got home, he surprised me with my favorite perfume, which I was surprised and so happy about. But the next morning he texted me while he was in work saying we need to talk later, which I didn't think much of as we have been really good recently. So he called me on his lunch and was adamant that I wasn't happy in the relationship and wanted to end it. I told him that wasn't the case. Anyway, that led to the conversation going into the direction of him saying he has been falling out of love with me for months and that he feels he hates me sometimes, which was a massive kick in the teeth because I genuinely thought we was going good. We talked for a while and he was sorry about what he said and that he didn't mean it in that way. I said that if he's not happy to just leave. He didn't want him anymore. I was happy about this, but still confused as to why any of that even happened. It's now like a week later. I had this morning in the house, and we both used the iPad that he got for me, which is connected to his iCloud phone number. I was doing revision and thought to just check the calls and messages or whatever. He's never cared that I do it. He does it to me sometimes. I know it's not healthy, but it's never been a problem. Until I found a message, well, a price list off a massage parlor based like 15 minutes away from like my area. I thought it couldn't be like real, surely someone was just joking, winding him up, but my friend phoned her and it's actually a FKN prostitute. I have blocked him on everything. He can't contact me. He was denying it at first before I blocked him. But I'm not sure if it's just best to walk away and leave him where it is, because surely there is no explanation for that. We have been together for just over a year, and he's never had a message like that. But soon as I leave the country just for the weekend, something like this pops up. This is more just a rant, but what do I do? Should I just move on and leave it? Because right now I don't want to. Please leave a comment after listening to my story. My husband brings his affair daughter in our house. He had an affair child with a student. My husband is a lawyer and has his private office with his own employees. And he took this young student, who was working on her thesis, to his practice. His office is maybe top 5 in the city, so I didn't think too much of it, as plenty of students do this, male and female, younger, older. But the very cliché story, he knocked her up. This happened 3 years ago, and they have a daughter. The baby's mother died in a car crash at just 28, and grandma took care of the baby, becoming legal tutor of the girl. When I say grandma, I mean grandma of the woman who died, so for the child that is great. Grandma who is already 70 plus. My husband informed me about this just recently. I knew about the existence of the child, but we did some couple counseling. He paid child support, and as far as I knew, he never had any contact with them. But as the mother is gone, he said he will need to be more present, and he also wants this. He said he felt guilty for being an absent father. I cannot blame the child for anything, and I agreed that he brings the baby girl to our house every weekend. This Sunday was the first weekend, and I can swear that the little girl knows him. She wasn't acting like she is with a stranger. She hugged him, jumped in his lap. Was I lied to? He kept in touch with them. I tried to talk to the child's legal tutor, and the old woman told me she doesn't want to hear about my husband. She hates him, probably because he is 15 years older than her late granddaughter was, or maybe there are other things I know nothing about. She was forced by the court to allow him to take her to our house occasionally. How to handle this? I feel weird with that little girl around, but she is innocent, and I want her to be happy. Please leave a comment after listening to my story. Thank you for listening. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe if you enjoyed the video. Wishing you good health if you like this video.